Alright, so this is lesson 2 on knitting a pair of socks with this smallest of the sock looms. I'm going to teach you how to cast on to begin your sock today. So, first thing you're going to want to do is make a slip knot. The easiest way for me to make a slip knot is to do a loop around my finger and then pull the short end through, and then there you have your slip knot. So you're going to, on your loom, there's going to be this little nodule here on the side, and that's what you're going to put your slip knot over. And it will stay there for about the first 3 rounds, and then you'll remove the loop, and I'll show you how to do that. And this is just to hold your yarn in place basically while you get through your first couple rounds. So now this loop's a little big, so I'm going to tighten it just a smidge here to about there. And then we're going to start with the cast on. Okay, so holding your yarn like this, you're going to wrap it around each of these pegs, and you're going to do it, what is that, clockwise, counterclockwise? That looks like counterclockwise to me. And you're just going to do that around each of the pegs. So you're going to go around behind, come around to the front, and then go around behind the next one. And you're just going to keep doing that around behind, the front, behind, the front, all the way around. And you'll get really fast at this, honestly, the more you do it. If you let go, it's probably going to unravel all the way back to the beginning, and you just start over again. It's not a huge deal. We've all done it. So we're just going to keep going until we get back to where we began. All right. So, and then we're going to kind of push all of this down so that we have more room on the pegs. When you get going on this, you're going to get a lot better at placement. You'll place the first round kind of lower on the pegs, and then the next round upper on the pegs. For this one, I just wanted to show you how to do it. I wasn't too worried about placement. So now I'm going to do a second round, and I'm going to do the exact same way around the back and then around the front. And I'm going to go all the way around, and we're just going to keep going until we get back to where we started, which is also helpful with this peg because it lets you know where you've started. Alright, so now you have a row, 2 rows of wound yarn on each peg. Alright, so this is where this hook comes in handy. You have your hook. We're going to do our first stitch. Alright, so now in the directions it's going to tell you to start with the first one to the left of the peg. I'm going to give you a little hint. Don't start with that one. Start with the one to the right of the peg. You're going to lift up the bottom stitch. You're going to lift it over the upper stitch and over the top of the peg and let it go. And the reason I'm having you start over here is because now you can let go of your yarn and it won't completely unravel, because you've just basically locked it in there by doing that stitch. If you start with this one, then this part will still have a tendency to unravel. So that's just my helpful hint to you today. So now we're going to do the same thing we did with that peg on all of the pegs. We're going to lift from the bottom, and we're going to lift it over the top, leaving the first row still there. Alright? So, and again, you will get faster at this. Now the very first one, it was going to be tight to lift over because it's kind of still stuck to this peg here. The rest of them will be a little looser. Be careful not to pull too far out. When you're lifting, try to keep the same tension as you go around. That way you'll have even stitches. And you're just going to go around and lift everyone up over the pegs. A movement that's going to become very familiar to you. You're going to be doing this over and over and over again until you get your sock. This is the basic knit stitch. Now when you've completed that, you're going to push everything down again to give yourself a little room. You don't need to push it all the way to the bottom. Pushing it all the way to the bottom makes it a little difficult to lift up on the next stitch. So kind of do it in the middle there. Give yourself enough room to do another row. And that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to grab your yarn and you're going to go around for another row. This will be a little slower in the beginning. I've done this a little while, so I'm going fast to show you. So if you're not going as fast as I am wrapping this thing, please don't feel bad about that. It does take a little bit of practice. All right, let's get that guy out of the way. So then again, we're going to start with the one on the right, and then we'll move to the ones on the left. And we're going to do the exact same thing. We're just going to go around and lift the bottom stitch above the top. And you can see in here already you're creating this is basically the inside of the sock. If you were able to turn this out right side out, which you can't at the moment, you'd see that's creating a knit stitch. All right, everyone, so we're back. This is how much I've knitted so far. You can see on this side, and this is actually what the outside of the sock will look like. Now, I told you before that at some point you're going to have to undo this little guy here because he's holding our sock back, you can see. So what you'll want to do is unhook them, and then from this side, kind of pull them on through. And then take the slip knot out. So now you have this hanging here. We will do something with this at the end of the sock. At this point, we would continue with the knitting process. And every row after this will be the continuation of the sock. As you knitting, it will drop through the bottom of this, and it will get longer and longer. So I'm going to go ahead and continue knitting on this. I'm going to let you guys continue doing your rounds, and the next time we come, next year we'll be showing you how to transition yarns in case you want to do multiple colors. But in the meantime, go ahead and knit as many rows as you wanted of your current yarn, and we'll get back together to show you how to transition colors or types of yarn. All right? Thank you so much for watching.